Well, they're ramping it up here now, really ramping it up. You can hear the sound of rain on the tent roof. Lovely, isn't it? It's really nice to sit here actually in the rain sometimes, especially when the birds are up in the trees chirping away. Anyway, let me continue with the Draconia dystopian 1984 nightmare that's unfolding right in front of my eyes. 70 scientists, SS, remember this, 70 scientists demand total confinement of Spanish residents to their houses over fears health system about to collapse. The scientists have modelled 3 outcomes depending on control of movement. I'll begin the actual article. 70 scientists, SS have demanded the total confinement of Spanish residents to their houses over fears the health system will collapse this week. The letter, signed by the 70 professionals, SS again in the middle of professionals, asks for the prohibition of all work that is not of primary need. 70. What happened 70 years ago, guys? Have a look. I know. The medical experts from across Spain predict the lack of tighter controls will see the collapse of the health system this Wednesday that marks the 25th, in 2 days. Yeah, here we go. Coronavirus cases have hit 33,000. SS 70, 33. As the Spanish nation becomes the 3rd worst hit in the world. The scientists blame the crisis on a spike in patients with abnormal symptoms. Attacked by the Zionists. Don't forget, Netanyahu's not allowed to set foot in mainland Spain. He has a warrant out for his arrest for crimes against humanity. So there's a little clue why Spain is being attacked here, guys. I'll continue. The scientists blame the crisis on a spike in patients with abnormal symptoms and on transmission of the virus from infected people before they produce symptoms of COVID-19. The scientists note that 18% of the Spanish population is over 65. They don't want to pay these pensions, do they? Which will increase the risk of complications and mortality. The measures adopted to date will not be sufficient to avoid the collapse of the healthcare system and consequently the mortality from COVID-19. 3 scenarios are predicted in mathematical models. Now, these mathematical models are based on that computer simulation which everybody's using, which is fake and wrong. Please see my last video where I put a link to Windows on the World. Check out what he has to say about that, please. Very, very interesting that these guys are literally listening and being led by AI. Anyway, scenario 1 models no restriction of movement whatsoever, in which the rate of infection skyrockets. Fear porn, anyone? Scenario 2, more they're steering us into this, predicts partial mobility where 50% of workers are allowed to circulate on public roads. The scenario will see significantly less infections than scenario 1, but still enough to collapse the system. Scientists have suggested the government would partially quarantine the country, with badly hit regions such as Madrid totally locked down, while other regions continue as at present. Scenario 3, and this is the one they're pushing for, obviously, with their double speak, their neurolinguistic programming, their Masonic numerology and their occultism. Ooh, that was a big sentence, wasn't it? Scenario 3 looks at the total restriction of movement. Measures will include total isolation of confirmed cases, quarantine of their recent contacts, social distancing of the over 70s, and prohibition of all non-vital work. The rate of infection drops dramatically and is the preferred course of action of the scientists. Ooh. The General Secretary of the Ministry of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda, Maria Jose Rayo del Olmo, said yesterday that confinement is giving good results. It is necessary to persevere and to maintain the discipline for the good of all. End. Please share this, especially if you're not experiencing this yet. I really hope you don't experience this either, because it's horrifying, and that's a gentle way of putting it, isn't it? Horrifying. Cheers.